Do you feel him, sir?
Welcome back to One Star Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, and other foul creatures that you are. Today, I'm going to be giving you the rundown on everything you need to know in this upcoming WWE Premium Live event, the 2025 Royal Rumble. I'm going to cover the matches, the stories, and all the details I can. This video is actually a commission from my friend Rod, so shout out to him and Michelle. The goal of this video is to lay things out, not just for anybody who's already a fan, but a way to give new viewers and fans all the information they need to understand the matches, the people, and the stakes. A lot of this information, including the explanation of the match itself, is readily available other places, even made by other people, but I thought making a video like this would be fun, plus, hey, commissions. Without any further ado, let's get into things. So WWE has like 12 pay-per-views a year, or somewhere around there, sometimes 11. The calendar can change often, but usually it's once per month, and this month's pay-per-view is going to be the Royal Rumble on February 1st. The Royal Rumble event is a pay-per-view which has been taking place for 38 years as this upcoming event and has seen a total of 27 different men and 7 women win the match. The reason there's only 27 men who have won the match in 38 years is because several people have won it multiple times, 9 of whom who've won it twice, and 1 person who's won 3 of them. The Women's Royal Rumble debuted in 2018, hence a smaller number. The winner of the Royal Rumble is guaranteed a main event match at WrestleMania on the men's side for either the WWE or World Heavyweight Championship, and on the women's side for either the WWE Women's or Women's World Championship. The match itself will typically consist of 30 people, with 2 starting in the ring and then other people joining at one at a time in intervals of 90 to 120 seconds. This continues until all 30 people have entered the ring. The match ends when 29 of the 30 entrants have been eliminated, and elimination occurring by being thrown or otherwise taken over the top rope and both feet touch the floor. Some unique situations have taken place over the years, such as someone landing on the barricade, ring steps, or some other object to avoid elimination, but as soon as both feet touch the floor, they are out. There have also been a couple times over the years where the last 2 people fell out of the ring at the same time, leading to restarts or the last 2 being put back into the ring for a one-on-one version of the Rumble. Other special situations may happen to alter the course of the Rumble, such as someone being attacked while they're on the way to the ring, so they're replaced by the attacker or someone else. There have also been a couple times where someone has remained outside of the ring at first, or even slid under the bottom rope to avoid elimination just to stay outside of the ring for their own safety. So far, we've had 15 of the 30 men announce themselves for their Rumble and 10 of the 30 women. There are a lot of likely names that'll be in there, but I don't have the time to crank this video out in time and provide info on every possible entrant, so here's everyone who's formally announced, who they are, and brief summaries of what's going on with them right now. Also, if you're interested, I have a video here on the channel, One Star Wrestling, predicting the entire men's Rumble, so if you have the time, I'd really appreciate you checking that out. But let's get into the men's Rumble participants, who they are, and what their stories are right now. LA Knight. Losing his US title back in November, he's been looking to redeem himself and rebuild momentum. He's an established veteran and a fan favorite, and a lot of people are looking to see what he can do in this matchup. John Cena. He announced his retirement tour / last year of wrestling back in June, and 2025 will be the last time we see John Cena wrestle. He's looking to win the Rumble for a 3rd time, tying Stone Cold Steve Austin for the most Rumble wins, to go on in WrestleMania's main event one last time. CM Punk. Coming off of a brutal trilogy of matches with Drew McIntyre this past year that he came out winning most of, he's looking to win the Rumble for the first time and get to the main event of WrestleMania, something he's wanted to do for years. With this issue going back to even 2014, where he was told he was going to go into the main event of WrestleMania 30, but then plans changed, and that, along with many other reasons, actually made him leave the company. This match will probably have some heated moments between him and Drew, as well as Seth Rollins. He's a fan favorite, but not afraid to do some scummy stuff. Seth Rollins. Returning from injury back in June before having some losses and getting injured again, and finally returning for good for now back in September. He has had issues with CM Punk for years and lost to him on January 6th at the debut of Raw on Netflix. So he'll be looking to get after Punk as well as win the Rumble for a 2nd time. He's a fan favorite, but he has a lot of anger issues, and he might do some bad guy-ish things to get the job done and get the win. Drew McIntyre. Also having issues with Punk, he came out on the losing end of the aforementioned trilogy with him. Drew's looking to get back into the main event scene after a rocky go of it in recent years, including a few rough title reigns when he could win it. Kind of a tweener between good and bad, but he'll probably just resort to doing more bad guy and heelish things. Jey Uso. Coming off of losing the Intercontinental title back in October and then a rough loss to Gunther this past Saturday in a bid for the World Heavyweight Championship, Jay is looking to win his first Rumble and bounce back in a big way after both big losses. He is a big-time fan favorite, and when you see him come out, be sure to do that arm thing that everybody else in the arena is doing. Roman Reigns. He lost the world title back at last year's WrestleMania in April after over 1,300 days as champion, and since then has been playing a back-and-forth rivalry for the title of Family Leader or Tribal Chief with Solo Sikoa, finally winning the title of Tribal Chief on the Raw's debut of Netflix on January 6th. Now he's looking to get back into the title picture with a second possible Royal Rumble win. He is a fan favorite, but realistically he could turn heel at any point. Rey Mysterio. The biggest veteran in this match for sure, Rey has been mainly just working feuds with a stable called Legado del Fantasma, and is looking to win his second Royal Rumble after a less than notable 2024. Fan favorite for sure, and I think it's impossible for him to turn heel, if I'm being honest. Sami Zayn. Kind of feuding with anyone in sight lately, Sami has been trying to find friends more than anything for the past year, having tried to mend things with the likes of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at separate times. He doesn't really have a straight path right now, but he could get involved with the WWE title match as well, given who's in it and what's going on, which we will be discussing later. Shinsuke Nakamura. The current US champion, Shinsuke has been a constant force in the WWE for years, but has yet to really hit any big heights outside of very brief title reigns here and there. But recently he's adopted a new persona, and that's been doing well. He's more of a bad guy, but will probably get cheered because of how popular he is until he does some weird shit. Logan Paul. Honestly, fuck this guy, but he's unfortunately good at wrestling. Logan has been absent for most of the past year, but came back last month and announced he'd be on Raw, possibly returning in the match, and now he is confirmed to be returning in the match. Definite bad guy, but he could have a real cool spot as he did a few years ago with Ricochet. Penta. Also known as Pentagon Jr., he recently debuted on the January 6th Raw debut on Netflix, and he has worked in other companies for a little over 2 decades now. After his recent debut win over Chad Gable that showed off his style in a tremendous way, his flashy moves and overall just aura is sure to make him a big favorite in this match. Chad Gable. Being handed more losses than wins the past few months, Chad has been on the losing end of matches with the Wyatt Six and others. He's definitely a bad guy and there's not much to cheer this guy about, but he's got some very interesting and technical moves, so you might be seeing him do some little one-on-one spots. Braun Breaker. The current Intercontinental Champion, Braun has had a lot of success in 2024, including becoming a 2-time Intercontinental Champion and getting wins over names like Jey Uso, Sheamus, and more, and managing to become quite the main roster powerhouse overall. Carmelo Hayes. Probably the most underrated person in this set of announced wrestlers, Carmelo has had a best-of-7 series with another wrestler, Andrade, and came out tied up with 3 wins each and a draw, before losing some matches here and there since November. It's assumed he's a bad guy, but it could realistically go either way. And now for the Women's Rumble, and the 10 participants who have been announced so far. Nia Jax has won and lost the Women's Championship in 2024, winning it and coming into a little bit of momentum before losing it as Tiffany Stratton cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase. A briefcase that held a contract for a title match at any time or any place. She is technically a bad guy, but she's more annoying than hated, and could get some cheers depending on how she's presented. Bayley. After winning the Royal Rumble last year, Bayley went to WrestleMania 40 with a time record in the match at just over an hour, and then a successful title win beating Io Sky for the belt at WrestleMania, before she lost it to Nia Jax back in August. After a successful War Games cage match win and a couple wins and losses here and there the past couple months, she's looking to keep the momentum going and win the match for the 2nd year in a row. She's a fan favorite with some cocky traits. Charlotte Flair. The record-setting former women's champion has been out of action for just over a year after suffering a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus in a match. A lot of people hate her for how quickly she managed to win her combined 14 women's world title reigns, as none of them lasted too long, but she's still considered a favorite to win this year's Rumble for the pedigree and her dad being one of the most accomplished wrestlers of all time, Ric Flair. Not sure if she'll be considered a good guy or a bad guy going into this. Naomi. Outside of being inserted as one half of the women's tag team champions right now, Naomi hasn't been able to accomplish much outside of losses since her return at last year's Rumble, despite the relative success she had between 2016 and 2021. There's a chance the person she's filling in for as champ, Jade Cargill, could come back in the Rumble or earlier in the night, so maybe there's a shot at her being focused on again as a singles competitor. Definite fan favorite. Bianca Belair. Another former Rumble winner, Belair has had some beefy title reigns between 2022 and 2024 and is currently one half of the women's tag team champions alongside Naomi. Bianca is the most likely of the duo to go the distance here, with more titles in her past and more recent wins, and she is a definite fan favorite. Liv Morgan. Having had the best previous year out of everyone besides Bayley, Liv has managed to hand people some big losses as well as win the Women's World Championship before losing it to rival Rhea Ripley after a reign that lasted just over 200 days. Having held the belt pretty strongly for a good portion of the year, a Rumble win isn't unlikely. Bad guy for sure. Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel here is probably just going to be used as a bodyguard for Liv, given the closeness and how she returned in October to help her retain the belt at the time, but there's a good chance that we could see her betray Liv here in this match. But she's a bad guy for now. Lyra Valkyria. Current Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra has had a string of wins leading up to the title win over Ivy Nile, Io Sky, and others. Once again, being a current champion probably means no win, but she could put on a stellar performance, and she is a fan favorite. Ivy Nile. Not having done a whole lot outside of some main event show wins here and there, Ivy has been under the radar but could prove to be a real dark horse in this match with her more unique MMA style. Tweener, but probably a bad guy. Io Sky. She's had a lot of close shots at belts and some tag team wins, but hasn't had any real single success since losing the belt back to Bayley back at WrestleMania 40. It could be interesting to see her come back and win the Rumble and work back into the title scene though, especially considered she lost the title to the recent Rumble winner. She's definitely a fan favorite. On to the next match, it is DIY, the current WWE Tag Team Champions, defending those titles against the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2 out of 3 falls match. After debuting in WWE back in October, the Motor City Machine Guns, which is composed of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, beat DIY in the Bloodline for the tag belts. These two were big in another wrestling company, Total Nonstop Action / Impact Wrestling, for around 15 years before signing here and making this big impact right out of the gate. They lost the belts to DIY, the team of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, on December 6th after DIY turned heel and hit Sabin with a low blow to get the belts back. DIY were the good guys for a long time, with Tommaso initially showing some bitterness and heelish tendencies, possibly hinting towards a solo turn and betrayal. But Johnny ended up turning full heel and signaling their double turn with this low blow to win the titles back. DIY have previously wrestled some Match of the Year candidates, including other 2 out of 3 falls matches, such as this one. So this is sure to be an exciting, longer match between the two. Both teams have been wrestling for a long time, so this match is a dream for anybody who's into veterans such as them. Finally, the last confirmed match we have is Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a WWE Championship ladder match. Cody ended up satisfying a story that went on for damn near 2 years by winning the WWE title back at WrestleMania 40, and since then has been able to defend it in a few really intense matches, with this one having some of the most interesting stories behind it. Cody had won the belt back from notable big bad guy at the time, Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania 40, but Roman eventually came back as a good guy and needed help in a multi-man match, enlisting the help of Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens, a good guy at the time, had a lot of issues with Roman Reigns and saw Cody teaming up with him as a betrayal, and ended up attacking Cody and turning heel for this. They had a title match on December 14th where Kevin had Cody pinned for a good while, but the referee was out. Kevin tried to use a chair out of frustration, but failed and ended up getting pinned, causing him to crash out and attack Cody after the match. The event that match took place at was Saturday night's main event, a very 80s themed and older styled show, so Cody actually had come out with an older version of the WWE title belt to coincide with the theme. Kevin Owens ended up stealing this title belt and declaring himself the real world champion. For that reason, this ladder match will have both titles hung above the ring, and the first person to retrieve both belts from their place hanging above the ring will be the undisputed champion. Realistically, this is just a WWE Championship match, but it's probably going to be labeled as a unification match in some places because of the two belts, even though one of them is only really one of them is considered a title belt right now in WWE. The moral of the story here is that Kevin thinks Cody has no loyalty or truth and thinks he's absolutely right and the deserving champ. And Cody is playing the resolute Superman good guy, excuse me. Could be a bad guy, though. And that's a quick rundown of the 2025 Royal Rumble event. Some more matches could be announced this Friday on SmackDown, or even the day of as the show goes on. But for now, it is these 4 matches, 2 Rumbles and 2 title matches. I hope you guys enjoy the event. I hope you guys have the time to check out this video and give me your thoughts on it. And like I said in the beginning, I do have a video outlining my predictions for the entire Royal Rumble match for the men. So if you could take the time to check that out, I would really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. I hope you're staying hydrated. I'll see you next time.